keep an open mind to this. He said a drunk guy walks into a bar and he tells me that the United States is mobilizing troops and giving Ukraine equipment, and that something's going to happen within the next week. And he said, take that with a grain of salt. I
That
said,
all
okay.
rings true.
I was like, okay, let me see. Drunk guy walks into a bar. Obviously, he can't say nothing because the military's listening to him. Second of all, he's trying to give me a message, a hidden message, right in plain sight. And then I told him, all I said back was, I get what you're saying. I was like, I understand exactly what you're saying. I dropped it there.
Dude, well, he's right. Like, it's all just been coming out last couple days, even that that we've been giving them weapons and stuff. Like, we've been giving them weapons. We're trying, like, that's basically what he's saying, and that's what we've seen in the mainstream news now. So he was right.
Even in the mainstream news, they're talking about using force now. They're like, what? The United States said they're going to use force. I'm like, what?
CNN has been dogging Biden so hard lately. Rightfully, I'm not disagreeing with them, but I just weird. They've been usually not doing that.
Because they don't demonize Democrats. And I'm like, CNN is literally bashing Joe Biden's life.
I think the Democrats in general are like distancing themselves from Joe Biden because they know how bad things are going to be in 2022 with that. So they're trying to be we don't talk bad about the Democrats, but we will talk bad about Joe Biden because he don't count.
Nobody fucks with Joe Biden anymore. And
no.
If they do, they're just like hitting to the situation.
Oh, God. He's the one, though. He's the one that's going to be in charge when shit with Russia and he's the commander in chief allegedly.
That's scary. Because Putin, him himself has been into a military. He's been a spy. He knows how to play these games. Yeah. Biden, he's got political history, and he has an up and down political history. But now we are seeing that he is the worst president ever as they're chanting his name worldwide now. Let's go, Brandon. Whoops.
Let's go, Brandon. All the time, man. I got it in the stand today. I don't know. I mean, would you feel any better with Camilla as president? I don't even know what has she been doing. I don't even know where she is or what she's been compared to other vice presidents. Like, but that's the other option, and it ain't better.
If Camilla Harris joins the mix, bro, that's even worse. She'll just laugh the problem off. Yeah, we're about to go to war with Russia, guys. Like, oh no,
yeah,
I couldn't.
She probably won't even show up. I don't know what she's been doing this whole time.
Be in her bunker, and all of us wondering where the hell she is.
Shit. Who's up after her? Let's figure this shit. How far
Pelosi.
We got to go before we got somebody that can handle it?
Nancy Pelosi will be after her. I think after Nancy is Chuck Schumer, I believe. They got the House, bro. The Democrats got it all. They got it all.
It can be a Democrat, just not the worst Democrats possible, which seems to be the ones in charge.
The worst ones. I think after Chuck Schumer would be Anthony Blinken, and he's a war hawk himself, so it's just
at least he's actually like he's the one talking to these people, so he's a little bit more like cognizant of what the fuck's going on. I don't think Joe is all the time with this.
Oh no, heck no. They're probably like, hey Joe, this is what's going on. Talk to the American people, fuck up your shit, and we'll fix everything afterwards. Because I seen what's happening right now. He speaks, then they're like, oh no, Joe didn't mean to say that. What he meant to say was this. And then we're like, well, who's the president here? Are you guys the president, or is Joe Biden our president?
Mm-hmm. That's what people were saying. Like, don't look at what Biden's doing. Look what his cabinet's doing. That'll tell you what's going to happen. But
yeah,
let me ask you this. All right, so it seems like the big decision point here is when, not if, when Russia invades Ukraine. Probably in eastern Ukraine. When they invade eastern Ukraine, are we going to respond heavy, respond light to not at all? Those two are the choices. It seems like that we've been put forth because Biden's saying we'll do light if they do light response, and then everybody else is like, no, it's going to be heavy as fuck. So the choice is: are we listening to what Biden's saying about going light, or are we going to go all out, kind of like we always would have thought? Like it's going to be one or the other. We got to decide which. I don't know which way we would go. I really couldn't tell you.
I'm going to give you guys a little simple advice. So look how they shifted this. it started off as the Ukraine and Russia situation. Now it has shifted the West versus Russia situation. They're not talking about Ukraine as much no more. Russia keeps saying they're not here to invade Ukraine. They are preparing for the West. So I think they're using this Ukraine situation as a, what do they call that? A sugar coat right now. They're like, okay, Russia's going to invade Ukraine and we're just going to move our troops to the eastern flank. But I really think that Russia is going to make their move on the West because they know that the West is just going to keep sending weapons to Ukraine. They're after Ukraine to get closer to Russia. So when Russia says that they're going to make military action, I believe they're coming after us. I don't believe that they're coming after Ukraine because the way that they're building up now, they're doing worldwide exercises. It started off with on Ukraine's border. Now it's worldwide. And now we're seeing shit actually escalate. So
I think it can go that way. I think they're prepared for it to go that way. I think that if they were given exactly what they actually want, they wouldn't. But that ain't gonna probably happen. So they will. You like if they would settle for parts around them. They won't have to go to World War, but they don't really plan on getting that. So they're gonna take it. And they also want us. So they're going to do something little that they're going to justify in Ukraine. And they want us to not overreact, but in their minds overreact to that, to then justify them coming back hard on us, which is what they actually want. In my mind, is what's going on here. Because you got to just think, Vladimir Putin's smart.
He's smart as shit.
You got to just try to think like a KGB guy. That's probably what he's going to do. It's not some stupid shit like we might do, like some incompetent bureaucrat stuff. This is like operative stuff that they do.
So all right, so there was a Chinese threat today. They threatened nuclear war on the United States again. They said if y'all protect Taiwan, we would destroy your aircraft carrier, we would destroy your air force, and therefore we will up it to nuclear war. Do you really want to go to nuclear war over Taiwan? Now Russia has sent out their pretty much whole navy. Now think of this. Their whole navy for exercise drills. Them, Iran and China is doing major exercise drills.
160 ships in the Black Sea alone. Just in the Black Sea. That's a lot of ships.
And more to come. More to come.
Yeah.
And so then you have to think of this. Now the British are shadowing these ships. Now the United States just sent out, 24 to 25 warships and 4 nuclear submarines to go towards Russia? Like, this is getting way out of hand. This is getting way out of hand. And that's why I'm like, this is not about Ukraine no more. This is about the West versus Russia.
And like, what's going to be the rules of engagement in this war if it happens? That's the big question too. Like, is it balls to the wall all out, or is it like small skirmishes, or is it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as a mindset from enemy to enemy, are they like trying to just fucking destroy us as much as they can the whole time, or is it just like we're trying to win this battle? Because there's things that Russia can do now with technology that Germany couldn't do in the 40s. You know what I mean? It was so like it's so different now. Even like, not even talking about nukes, like anything, things that they could do compared to before. It's like a war the world's never seen. I can't even pretend to guess what it's going to be like with that stuff. But the rules of engagement are going to matter a lot, if there are any.
I think Germany just switched sides. They're talking about them betraying NATO because they're not letting the UK go through Germany to send Ukraine weapons. Germany has completely cut all communications to NATO, and they're not letting them know their agenda or anything because Russia supplies Germany with gas. Russia supplies Germany with the good stuff. So if they have to cut Germany,
that wouldn't work though. Like that's like suicide, because think about how many military bases we have in Germany. Think about how many Americans there are in Germany. Like, we was in Germany. If you're listening, we fucking won that war. Like, you are Germany, but like, I'm gonna be honest, for you and Japan too. Have you met Puerto Rico? Have you met Guam? Okay, like, you guys are cool. No hate at all in this statement, but you are also those things because we won the war. We gave you, like, Japan only recently started even be allowed to have a military. So don't fuck around and find out with this stuff, because it's just, you need our support.
Definitely. If they don't, they're screwed. I always said, if the United States jumped out of NATO, what would NATO do to Russia and China? Like the countries of UK, France, even Turkey. What the hell are they going to do to a nuclear superpower like China or a nuclear superpower like Russia? They can't do anything. That's why they rely on the United States. Give us your F-35s.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your missile systems. Give us your warships and your high tech, because they know that the United States is the only one that can even step foot right in front of Russia and China.
Well, the Europeans shit talk on us a lot about our way we spend our money and how XYZ thing isn't right for them, or like they do things better with certain things. But like, dude, we're paying for your defense. Like, by all means, we spend way too much, but a lot of what we do with our actual spending is defending them on like for no reason, but because you know, like, and that's fine. But like, you guys are gonna talk shit and then. Do it yourself, guys. Defend yourself.
Facts. And they don't want to do that. Now that everything is going.
Alliances need to be mutually beneficial. And at this point in time, the cost outweighs the benefit by a lot. And we haven't gotten a real hard benefit for a long ass time from NATO. We've just spent a lot.
Yeah. We have no benefit in NATO. Honestly,
NATO is the problem, though, too, if you think about it, because, like, at least on the surface for the. Sorry, I froze. On the cover story for Putin on the surface, is that he's afraid of NATO. Basically, he doesn't want NATO on his doorstep. So, like, if there either just wasn't NATO at all, and they were just countries and alliance, like just defending each other, would we have peace? But yet still not have Putin mad about NATO? Like, why do we need that anymore?
Well,
in a weird way.
Now, in this case, we have to think of the Russian way. So NATO told Russia in the beginning, we will not build on you if you don't build on us. They stopped the Soviet Union. They stopped all this shit from going on. The Soviet Union crashed. Russia backed off on trying to get extra countries, believing in the United States and NATO that they would not expand on Russia. Now, NATO is now the reverse of Russia. They're the ones absorbing countries. They're the ones getting closer to Russia. Their capabilities are going through the roof. And now Russia's like, well, what the fuck? Now y'all trying to grab Ukraine? Y'all grabbing all the countries that we just released and let them to be independent countries. And now you're using those countries to get on our border.
Yeah, it's like the buffer. I mean, it's all stupid because, like, we ain't going to do shit. We're just going to be there being fucking loud, you know? But, like, once they do shit, we will.
They already started. You ain't hear the U.S. Couple airplanes went down today, and a couple Russian airplanes went down today, and they are not talking about it at all. They disappeared off the tracking. They were in areas they wasn't supposed to be. Disappeared.
It could be heating up already, man. That could be it.
That's what I'm saying. Behind the back.
They got when shit like that happens, they got to process it behind the scenes before they tell us about it. Make sure it lines up. So, like, that would make sense. That's what it would look like. We wouldn't know from the start.
And I just posted a video, and the only one that's talking about is Tucker Carlson. I know people say Fox News, fuck Fox News, but he just came out. He said, "Dude, we're about to go."
Broken clocks right twice a day, man.
He just said we're about to go to war with Russia, and you guys really support the United States and Joe Biden's administration going to war with someone that has nuclear weapons and that can come here and do everything that no other country could do. You can watch the video. They're literally telling it right to our face. He's like, you guys really support this? I'm thinking in my head, no.
No, we don't. Like, at that point, do we even have a president anymore? I feel like that's a decision people can just make if they do or don't, you know? Like, it won't be good either way, but, like, supporting him ain't gonna support win for us.
No.
Like the old day used to be like you had to support the president or whatever when there's a war, but like it ain't gonna make a difference. So why would I?
Exactly. If you support him, you're in the wrong. If you don't support him, you're still fucked. So it's just like, Dan, what do you do at this point?
I don't know anybody that really supports him at this point. Like a single person in real, even the people that like would vote for him right now today, they still wouldn't like be vocally happy about him. You know, like they're not like actually support. They just like would vote for him. If that makes sense.
Think it was more of, well, he's better than Trump. Trump gave us hell, so now let's pick Biden. I think it was something like that.
Well, I'm saying like today, if it was like reelected today, everybody like that voted for him, there's not anybody that's like excited about him. Like nobody's like, because like sometimes people get excited. Like people get excited about Trump or people get excited about X, Y, Z other person. Yeah. Nobody's excited about Joe. Nobody. And I don't know if they ever were, but especially not now. Nobody's going to defend him. CNN's dogging him. But there's no getting, like, he is, like, in that position for a little bit. Like, we're kind of fucked for a while with that. And he's going to have to make some choices that are, like, not ones I want him making.
And the thing is, I don't think he's making them choices. I think they're using his age and his unintelligence to control the man. You think about this. Joe Biden is put in a situation where he just left the Afghanistan situation. We ran out with our tails between our legs. And the world is looking at us like we're unreliable. We're not the same United States we used to be. And we have to get used to their new reality. Now, Russia and China is like, well, we are still trading. We still got weapons. We still got oil and all this stuff that you can have. Mm-hmm. Are you going to depend on the United States, or are you going to depend on someone that can really have your backs? So the world right now is picking of two sides. Well, really three, because you got Russia, China, and the United States. Three different influencers. And now these influencers have to prove themselves to the world that they are the top dogs, that they can handle this. So Russia's not backing down. China's definitely not backing down. And the United States is like, well, we're number one. We have to keep this spot. We are going to win this no matter what. Because that's all we know. Let's go into wars and let's find some way to win, or make some bullcrap to start the war.
Right. And like, we needed to be like better this whole time about avoiding this, to not be where we are. Like, first of all, why haven't we been like making Russia and China not be friends? Like, that should have been like a big goal. Like for our CIA.
That's where they started.
Like, we need to have them be they're fighting with each other over who's going to be our best friend, not teaming up against us, which is where we're at. Like, we fucked up real bad there. Like, we spend so much fucking money on this shit, but we get it so wrong all fucking every time we go anywhere and do anything with the government.
I would have not been worried about any other team up. I wouldn't have cared about India or China or Russia and India, or any of them smaller countries that, you know, that got capabilities but can't really match ours. But you have Russia and China, the closest armies to us, the ones with major scientists, major thinkers that are committed 100% to their country, making moves towards the United States. Now you're like, ooh, we are on equal battle terms, or these guys might be slightly above us. And reality is starting to kick in that America is not what they used to be.
Well, they're smarter than us, I think, if nothing else. Like, only thing we got going is how much money we fucking spend compared to them. Yeah, but it doesn't matter if they can out clever us, you know, like if they're going to be doing which they are. Like, Russia just kind of brute forces cyber attacks and stuff, but China will wait a long ass time and make some serious plays that we don't engage in. We are short term fucking like brutes, basically, as a country on the world stage. They're like doing an intricate ballet on us, basically. Like, we're not built for this, to be honest. We're not, and it's not going to go well. And the world order is changing, and we're not on top anymore.
You know, it's weird because with them two countries, the whole country is united. Russia, you could say their citizens is at least united with their government. China,
compared to us, 100% compared to us.
And China, they kind of control their citizens to be about the government. And then you have the United States, where our citizens don't even know what the fuck is going on. We're like, oh yeah, it's just another day. And then we're going to get blindsided and be like, whoa, where the fuck did this come from? Where did this escalate from? Hold on. We wasn't taught about this, because they're not talking about it.
Yeah, dude. People are just like, being forced awake almost on some of this stuff. Like their heads getting ripped out of the sand, and they're like, oh, you know, like, but they can't. They're still like right now. It's still like some dust and shit, and they're kind of can see, but they're gonna see real quick that dust is gonna settle.
Settle real quick.
Which we people have been telling them for a long time they're gonna be in for a rude awakening, but so are the rest of us, even the ones that saw it coming. We're not. I don't know about you. I'm kind of bracing myself for the shit that's going on and about to happen.
Yeah, me too, man. It's crazy. Like, I never thought in our generation I would see anything escalate to this. Like, it has in the past, but it always had a de-escalation tip to it. It's like, okay, we're back down. We'll move our troops out. But we have too many fronts now for something not to break off. And our government's giving us secret warnings that something's going to happen.
Yeah, dude.
You were the first one of the first ones to report on the White House building the concrete walls. And I'm like,
yeah, dude. Like, even if it was nothing, like if it was just like, and I always said like it could be this, or there's always going to be a cover. We're never going to know for sure what's what. But like, it makes a good point that they are afraid of us, regardless. Like they're one of their big concerns with all of this is how we respond. You know, the wall, even like people talked about the Trump wall being there, you know, previously last year, but like that wall was there. Okay. And we've seen the things, how they respond to their own people on numerous occasions, left and right, like with like the George Floyd issues in DC when that was going on. And then also again on January 6th, either which way, it's the people versus the government, like, and they're doing stuff to stop it. So the message is clear regardless of that, but that just kind of drives it home more. But like, if they're just like upgrading, like I found, like, what is even the point of hiding what they're doing? Like, obviously they're doing something sketchy with that, you know. Yep. I don't know.
And that's why they're literally coming out. That's why they're coming out now and saying shit. They're like, oh, well, this might happen. We'll take decisive and economic responses, or severe or catastrophic. They're making some weird names for what they're going to do. And then they're like, we're only going to sanction Russia's the pipeline 2, the Nord Stream 2. They're like, we're going to sanction that. Russia will be impacted severely, and then we're going to take severe consequences.
Have you talked much about the sanctioning of SWIFT on your channel?
Yes.
Yeah. That's not our fucking job. Like that's Belgium. Belgium owns Swiss. America doesn't. Like we're acting like that's our, like Biden's acting like we can do, like, that's cool. Maybe Belgium would do that for us, but like they didn't say that they would. We're just like, hey, we're gonna take this other dude's car and run you over with it, even though he didn't say we could have it. Basically, like, I just thought that was funny. Like, and then also it's also stupid because it's gonna hurt us the same amount back because that money flows multiple directions. And two, they have their own payment processing systems they can just switch to like that. And it would just be, the whole thing was stupid. And I just see this showboating all the time, which tells me they ain't got anything better, which is scary.
Yeah, very scary. Very scary. And they're kind of promoting it like, you know, they got these hypersonic missiles. They could put them on trains. They could put them on fucking on trucks and submarines. And the United States like, well, we're failing test. And people are like, well, no, we've spent trillions for this. This can't be true. I'm like, maybe they're putting the truth right in front of you. Maybe your government isn't for you.
Where the fuck are our nukes at? Like, where are our hypersonics at? Like, we've been spending all this money. Why are we behind? Like,
right.
It's because of like all that you hear all these stories about, like the Pentagon, like losing billions and billions of dollars, losing, and like it's like on record that it was lost, but then like nobody gives a shit and like tracks that down at all. But like it was spent on stuff that we don't know. But like what? Apparently it wasn't hypersonic nukes. So what the fuck? That's what everybody assumed that kind of shit was this kind of like stuff to give us an edge. Like all the secrecy that we put up with, all the spending we put up with, allegedly is to keep us ahead of this shit. But every time I see, we're fucking behind. So what the fuck's going on? Like, where's the money going? It's going to somebody's pocket.
And I'm like, dude, I've been watching this for a long time. I grew up into the propaganda, thought our government was handy dandy, and then I'm starting to grow up into a man and realize that, damn, this government don't give a fuck about us. The thing the Democrats was chanting was stimulus, stimulus, stimulus. That's what they kept saying. Well, everyone's going to get stimulus. We're going to give you big, amazing packages. They gave us one stimulus check and went straight to the military. All right, we're going to give Ukraine this. We're going to give Taiwan that, the migrants this. And, you know, they're just going around and picking everybody but the Americans. They're not giving a fuck about us. Everyone in Europe and Asia knows that something's coming, and Americans don't know nothing. We are in the dark.
It's like they like threw a dog turd in our face and like, hey man, let me give you $1 to make that up to you. First of all, it's insulting because it's only $1. But second of all, motherfucker reached into my wallet and then took out my $1 and gave it back to me. That's what the stimulus is. I'll still take that $1 back, please. But like, what the fuck is this? You know?
Like, dude, you just gave me what you owed me, man.
That's what the government's been doing.
Hell yeah, it's been a recycling process for sure. And for somehow we just keep falling for it and falling for it and falling for it in different ways.
Well, hindsight.
Big time.
Basically, that's all it's going to be now. All this shit. But man, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's almost 9:30 here.
All right.
But you never know what's going to happen with this shit. So if I don't end up talking to you, buddy, like, stay safe for real. Don't fuck around and find out. And get prepared, everybody. You know, get safe.
Everyone.
All right, man. I'm going to cut it here. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Stay safe, everyone.